It's a lot of routing that'll be going on in both these runners' heads. And here we go. So first part, they'll mostly be doing just the standard any percent movement all the way through cap and then through the boss fight and cascade, because you can't really do any bingo goals until then.
You also see that the runners are running in English, which is not required for bingo, but maybe it will help them to get some moons. So I can't think of any right now, but it's safer to have English than Japanese, I guess.
Yeah, it can definitely help you check that you got the right moons.
Yeah, exactly, that's true.
So you'll see them rolling a lot. This is generally the fastest way to move in Odyssey. They're using the motion controls there. All those yellow sparks are when they're shaking their controller to get a bit more speed.
Yeah, streams are getting synced pretty soon. Just stand by. And we will soon see the card. It's just being set up.
Yeah. Smallant doing some vectoring with the frog here. If you turn a little right after you jump, you can get a bit more speed. Smallant opts to hit the cap checkpoint while PepsiAverage does not. We'll see what they do with that later. Hitting the checkpoint is generally a pretty good idea because you can come back to cap at some point, and you may want to warp up there, the sub areas over there.
Exactly. And it doesn't lose much time to grab that checkpoint. And now we see the card.
Yeah, so if there are no cap goals on the card, then that could be fine, because then there's no reason to come back and no reason to warp up there.
Yeah.
And I'm not seeing any. Are there any moon shards? No moon shards either, which is another reason that you might want to use that. So that might pay off for Pepsi there.
Yeah, so far the PepsiAverage is a few seconds in the lead, but that doesn't mean anything, especially in bingo.
And this right here with all these cutscenes, so they got that rope cutscene, and then they've got a few here, and after they grab the first moon, there's going to be a lot of time for them to be thinking about the routes and like looking at the board. That's probably what they're mainly focusing on right now.
Yeah, this game doesn't have many cutscenes or long cutscenes for routing, but but defeating Madame Brutal is like the last big cutscene, or maybe the Odyssey after Cascade.
Yeah, and it seems like there's no real Cascade goals on this card, so there could be like moons in Cascade or regional coins in Cascade, but without those goals, they can sort of just blitz through here and then think about what they want to do on their way to Sand.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot more time. Yeah.
You could go for some sub areas, but there are enough in Metro, so they don't have to worry about it right now.
Right, and there's no treasure chest moons, no 8-bits.
No 8-bits. Maybe they want some for those.
Oh yeah, 5
moons from 8-bits actually.
Yeah, so Cascade's got 2 of those, so they may opt to go for that if they've decided on including that goal in their routes.
For the 1000 coin goal, you have to collect that many, and if you have collected like 1000 at one point, you can spend them afterwards, and it still counts.
Yeah, so there's some interesting synergy there. There's 1000 and 1250 coins, and then there's also purchase 7 and 8 costume sets. So you could get the coins and then spend them all on some costume sets, and then...
Exactly, that's generally a pretty good combo.
Yeah.
I think at Seaside you will have like 4 or 5 costumes that you can buy, each 200 coins.
Yeah, so you got Sand, Lake, Wooded, Metro, and Seaside. Yeah, you'll have 5 gold coin costumes available to you. Runners are pretty close out of Brood. Pepsi's still with a small lead here. But the main separator is going to be once they decide on their routes. Because you really don't want to go for extra goals, right? You want to narrow down exactly which 3 rows you're going for and then just work towards those goals that you've chosen. Well, there's also the purchase 6 moons in the center, so there's a lot of purchasing here. So the coins and purchases combo pretty nicely.
Yeah. I generally don't like going for coins and purchase, except if you can get all the coins early on, because otherwise you will have to backtrack afterwards.
Yeah. That is a very good point. Yeah.
Or maybe you can make it work, but I'm kind of scared if I get both of them. And it looks like Smallant is going for 8-bit moons.
Yeah, so Smallant1's getting the 8-bit, and Pepsi is in a room that's both a sub-area and has a ton of coins in it. You get about 100, 150 coins every time you go through this.
Yep, that's a pretty good room, so he might want to go for the coin rolls.
Right.
Or at least costume goals, maybe.
And so there are a bunch of coin stacks throughout the game, but they aren't things you get in any percent, so these runners might not be as familiar with them.
Yes, Smallant only got one of the 8-bit. There was a second one, but that's pretty far out, so...
Right, and there's only 5 8-bits on the card, and so you can get most of those.
Yeah, there are faster ones.
Yeah. The one in Cascade is inside of a sub-area, so if you are going for sub-area moons as well. But there's still just extra moons that you don't need, so...
The runners can see the bingo card and they can see which squares the other runner has marked. They don't see the progress towards the squares, but they see if they are marked.
So PepsiAverage get PepsiAnt, mixing up both their names. But PepsiAverage getting 2 moons from a sub area here, so these will be their first 2.
And he almost has 200 coins already, which is quite a lot.
Right.
If he's getting Sphinx, that's like 300 more? I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's like 300 to 350. It's quite a lot.
Yeah.
And Pepsi picking up that moon that's already been collected, very smart. That gives you an extra 5 coins.
Oh yeah, I think he has around little percent. So I guess that's the coin strats that he's using.
That's a category where you go and just purchase the boxer shorts for Mario as quickly as possible. So
exactly. It basically does what he just did. Go into the dino room and collect the coin stash in the bush. Get the moon a second time for some extra coins.
It is nice to see some of the ideas of other categories transferring over to bingo.
Yeah, exactly.
And Smallant grabbed a bunch of regional coins there from the town. Got 18 of the 20 available. So it looks like he might be going for the 30 regional coins in sand, at the very least. And might be using those for souvenirs, or stickers, or costumes. All of those are on the card and can be bought with purple coins. So the runners will be balancing the moons going for the bingo goals, but you also need a set number of moons to progress to the next kingdom. So you'll see Smallant1's got 4 out of 16 total moons there that he needs to move on to either lake or wood.
Oh, he's going for the drams. Oh, he aborted the dram strat. That's usually something that you don't see in bingo. Or I guess it depends on the runners, but it's more commonly seen in any percent runs.
So Pepsi grabbing a moon from a music note here. That is on the card as well. Row 5, call 3. Just need 4 of those.
And oh, Smallant bonks and slides down the quicksand. That's pretty unfortunate. And then he bonks into the bullet bill. Rip. But yeah, now he's up there and going into the tower.
Yeah, so this will be his second 8-bit moon.
Yeah, I guess he wants the 8-bit moon. I thought maybe he wants to go for world peace in sand, because that's also a goal.
Yeah, he might be comboing both. That's true. So clipping is not allowed in this race, or so it's just up to the runners to decide, and they've decided to not allow clipping. So you can't just clip straight into the pyramid for world peace. You'll want to do both the tower and then the moon shards, and then you can enter the pyramid.
Oh, he skips the story moon. That means no world peace for him.
It's smart to leave the moon from the crate there for later, so the fast way to grab it rather than grabbing that moon and then going up the tower.
There are quite a lot of sand goals on the card I just saw, but I think Smallant is skipping most of them. I'm pretty sure he wants the purple coins.
So Smallant might have most of his route planned out already then.
Yeah. Okay, maybe he collects all the goals now.
Yeah, that's true. You could, okay, he's gonna call the Jaxi from stands here. So this will be his first stand. Just needs 2 of those.
He might be riding Jaxi to the sub areas because there's 4 sub-area moons from sand on the card. There are 2 pretty quick one in the direction where he's riding right now.
Yeah, and there's also a Jaxi stand by one of them, and they both work towards the 10 moons from sub areas total. Yeah, Pepsi definitely going for some of the coin goals. You can see him grabbing a few more. Looks like he wants this moon from the sub area here.
There's also a coin stack here, so maybe he wants that.
That's true. And there's a couple regional coins as well if he wants those. So this is a strange sub area in that it only has 1 moon, whereas almost every other sub area has 2. But this could be good. That'll let him pop into a sub area later in the game and just grab 1 moon out of it if he's going for the 10 total.
Yeah, there are some sub areas that are that have 1 really quick moon and 1 really long moon.
Right. Nice job. Up the pillow there. Yeah, definitely going for the coin stack. Oh no, take the little tumble. Not too bad of a time loss though.
Oh, he saved it. Getting all the coins. Now he has 360, and he can still go to the Sphinx, so he might be pretty close to 1000 after sand.
Yeah, there are a couple coin stacks later in the game too, so we'll see if he knows where those are.
Smallant going for the second sub area.
This will also get him his 30 regionals too. There's 4 more regional coins in the sub area. So I don't believe I saw Pepsi collect the moon there. Which...
not sure actually.
Which you definitely don't need it if you're going to do the other sub areas, because that is 1 moon and it's a little out of the way.
So I guess he just wanted the coins and purples in there.
Yeah. Gonna be getting his Jaxi stands here. And Smallant heading into Sphinx. I imagine we'll see Pepsi head in there in a minute.
Smallant might also look at the coin goals because he grabbed the stack in the bullet bill sub area, and now he's grabbing all of the coins in the Sphinx.
Yeah, definitely. And so Pepsi heading into another sub area here. This one's nice in that it's both sub area moons and it's got music notes in it. And there are those four moons from music notes on the card.
Yeah, it is really long though compared to the others.
Yeah, it's another
but it also
like,
has a lot of purples.
20 or so seconds longer.
Only 20, okay. I never timed it,
maybe
but it feels
like
so long.
It does feel longer. Yeah, maybe 20 or 30. I guess the other one is just out of the way Right, you can get this one and then like be close to the cactus moon and stuff.
Yeah, true. Smallant going to buy his first things.
So it looks like Smallant1's gonna be purchasing moons rather than saving up for those giant coin goals.
Yeah, seems like it.
Which
And
is
he's
good. You
not
don't
buying.
want a good set of coins at the start to be able to purchase moons as you go across every kingdom. You really don't want to have to backtrack afterwards.
Yeah, that's really useful. Didn't buy anything with his purples, so I guess the costume goals are out of his side.
Yeah, and stickers and souvenirs. Though there will be other opportunities to get those. Or the stickers, certainly. Because you only need 2.
But he already had purple, so I figured that he would buy them if he wants
Yeah,
them.
definitely. We get to see the trace walking here. Just gotta walk in the circle, try to match those lines as closely as possible. It's pretty lenient, though. Yeah, you get to
Can't say I've
93
never
and
failed
you
it, but
only need to 80.
yeah, that
Yeah,
was no
yeah, you can
problem for
definitely
Smallant.
get off the path and fail it.
Oh, Pepsi died. I think he also died in the sub area, and that costs a lot of time there.
Yeah.
Okay, this
Did you
death
get both the
wasn't
moons out
that
of there?
bad.
It looks like Pepsi's just taking a moment to think. That's definitely needed during bingos. That's a totally normal thing to see. There's just so much and you really don't want to forget anything. Because it's really slow to come back to a kingdom.
So yeah, Smallant right now is having a little kingdom lead, but PepsiAverage has collected some goals, or at least parts of goals that Smallant doesn't have, like some sub areas in Cascade and some more coins. I think also Note Moons, but I'm not sure if they are on the card right now. Oh, and Smallant is going back to Sand to collect, to get the last Sphinx questions. Because there's the goal 8 Sphinx questions, which needs either 3 or 5 from Sand and the rest from Seaside. Yeah, PepsiAverage is getting his second sub area for the bingo square right now.
So that'll give him his 4 moons from sub areas.
And as you just said that you don't want to forget anything in bingo, Smallant just realized 1 second before going to the next kingdom that he still needs the Sphinx questions, so yeah, you really need to think about what you're gonna do.
Yeah, and so that means Smalland's going to be heading to Seaside because you can't do Sphinx questions until you get there.
Exactly.
There is one more Sphinx in Wooded, but it's only got 1 question.
So I guess Smallant is going for Road 2 because he has the Sphinx questions, but he doesn't have World in Sand.
Yeah, and he's got a few 8 bits already. It'll be interesting to see how he balances the 1,000 coins with the purchasing moons.
Yeah, that would be hard.
Definitely. And so Lake can be an interesting one. It can be a really fast kingdom, and you can substitute doing the boss for a few other moons. But we'll see what he decides to do here. There is 14 moons from Lake on the card, and a few music notes. Let's see what he goes for. Looks like he's following mostly the any percent route, but has skipped
I think
the
he
zipper.
skipped a zipper.
I might have to replace that with purchasing a moon.
Oh yeah, maybe. Oh, I think he's gonna skip Rango completely.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. The boss is slow if you need the multi-moon or anything. Like, they're still fast moons, but if you can replace it with moons that work towards your bingo goals, it's generally faster.
Yeah, that's
That's
Smallant1's third 8-bit moon.
Yeah, and that's also a moon from music notes, which I don't believe he's going for, but...
Oh yeah, exactly, that's a pretty good moon because it counts for twice or 2 of the goals.
Yeah, there's one more of those in Metro that's also a combo moon, 8-bit. Or 8-bit notes.
You're seeing PepsiAverage going for the... Oh yeah, he is. And PepsiAverage is... Oh, I thought he was going for the shards. So I thought he was going for World Peace, but he debated me. I think PepsiAverage is looking for a certain moon.
Yeah, might be trying to find trace walking. So that's sort of in this area, but I think he'll have it soon. So yeah, this is part of the challenge with bingo. You just gotta do some movement and things that you're not comfortable with. And finding this stuff can definitely take some time. Okay, Smallant doing the zipper now, so he might be going for the 14 moons in the league. He's already got some music notes. He'll be purchasing the 6 moons, it looks like.
Oh yeah, that might make sense. An unfortunate bonk.
Oh, nope, looks like he's leaving.
Okay. I guess in that case he regrets skipping that moon earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, things like that can happen, like you want to be efficient and don't get any extra moons, and then in the end you end up with not enough moons.
Yeah, it's really easy to miscount, because it's super hard once you get to a kingdom to think, okay, exactly how many moons am I going to get, where am I going to get them, I need this type, and yeah, it's just a lot to keep in mind.
Yeah, exactly.
We could also see him return to Lake at the a little later. It's definitely not out of the question. If he wants to like build up coins and then come back to purchase a moon.
You think he's going for Lake once because he has to purchase moons and maybe the coins, right?
Yeah, possibly, because Call 3 is not looking too bad for him. He'd have to go back to the picture match.
He might also be going for row 2 and row 3.
Yeah, though he might not be going for row 2 at all. Well, I guess, yeah, he's done 8 bits and Sphinx.
Maybe he has just done them for secure, or yeah,
Right,
as a backup plan.
So maybe yeah, if you haven't like totally settled in on your route, like we said earlier, it's really hard while you're playing to figure out exactly which rows are to do or which rows you're doing. And then maybe he was like going for one thing and noticed the faster row. You'll see he's back in sand here. Looks like he's changing his mind on one of the rows.
So he might be going for column 5 instead of row 2.
Yeah, looks like he's going for world peace.
Both our rounders are currently going for the same objective, which is pretty rare. Especially after 24 minutes already.
And both of them gonna have a few too many moods in sand, but like we said, yeah, it's just hard to keep track.
Especially with that many goals in sand.
Yeah. Because like the moons they got were not slow. They always did the fast ones. It's just hard to recognize that you can skip some of the really fast moons if you're doing a bunch of like story moons and stuff.
Smallant is looking for the last shard. This is a moon that's usually not seen in almost none of the categories, because usually you just do the clip into the pyramid and then I think the moon is just there.
Yeah, so after you clip into the... I think you still need to get the moon shards, but it won't spawn a cutscene or anything.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But you generally just don't do the moon at all, because the moon shards are really slow. I believe.
Yeah.
Could be wrong on that, though.
There are too many routes, I don't know all of them.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's too
after a patch in this game made clipping a bit harder, the routes have definitely changed a lot. Ooh, Pepsi skipping the bullet there, very nice.
That's that world peace practice coming in.
Yeah.
And that pipe there can be pretty tricky. You saw that he went back out of the pipe by accident. But that can happen if you want to jump to the left, but you press left before jumping, I think.
Yeah.
And then it pulls you into the pipe.
Smallant also skipping it.
You saw Smallant taking a little bit of distance from the pipe because he knew that this can happen. Pepsi is getting close to those 1000 coins. Smallant just collected another 8-bit moon. I was wondering why he collected more moons even though he already has enough, but then I realized, oh wait, that's an 8-bit moon. Oh, and there's an unfortunate death. Doesn't lose too much time, but it's still annoying.
And it seems that PepsiAverage has incorrectly marked the 10 moons from sub-areas goal, but we'll sort that out. Because that's one of the things that's easier to mix up as a new runner for bingo, is which moons are sub-areas and which ones are not. Like Sphinx sort of feels like it's a sub-area, but yeah, there are only particular rooms that count that. And that distinction is sort of chosen by the game. There's like a category for sub-area moons.
There's a spreadsheet that lists all of the sub-areas, but during a run you don't really want to waste time looking at the spreadsheet.
Yeah, definitely.
So, both doing this boss fight right now, that it's a boss fight that you usually don't see in any percent. Oh well, you do see it in Bowser's Kingdom, which is a refight, which is slightly more difficult. But yeah, this is basically the same, but you don't have to aim your throws to hit her back with her bombs.
Alright. Pepsi heading into Knuckle Attack's room in a moment here. Making a smart move to warp up to the tower to get you much closer, and then you can head right in.
Yeah, it's good if you have some checkpoints on the map for cases like those.
Also, Pepsi getting really close to that 1,000 and 1,250 coin goals. It's at about 950 right now, and there are a bunch of coins Both in this room and then in the next room. 2 giant coin stacks. Unfortunate death there from Pepsi, but not too bad because the game sets a checkpoint, like an invisible checkpoint right here, so works out.
Yeah, there's a pretty risky jump. Did he try the risky jump?
No, I don't believe so. I think he just slipped off the side there. Pretty easy to do when you're trying to go for the bullet.
Yeah, that's true. Grabbing some extra coins now, he has the 1000. He probably waits with marking it until he gets a cutscene, but he has some time to spare.
Yeah, there's no need to mark goals immediately.
Yeah, now that Smallant is going for world peace, he should also have no problems getting the 1000 points if he's going for Road 2.
Definitely. So Pepsi's skipping the coins in this room. Let's see if Smallant goes for them. They are a little out of the way, but it is 200 coins. Though they may not need the 1250 coin goal. Okay, Smallant is opting to go for the coins.
And he gets it really smoothly. That jump can be kind of tricky because it's so close to the wall.
Yeah, and so he's pushing up against 1000 right now as well. Just needs a few more.
And both runners are in the same boss fight right now.
Yeah. So this one you just gotta get the fist to punch the little ice pieces and then you can capture them.
Oh, and Smallant
on 1 health, yeah.
Yeah, he entered with 2 health and then got hit once.
So he did get a knuckle attack to break that heart open, so he should be fine.
Yeah.
You definitely don't want to die in the later phases of this fight though, it's a pretty slow one to have to do again.
But yeah, there are some tricks that makes this fight relatively easy. Or at least easy to not die, let's say it like that. And it seems like both runners are getting a pretty good fight.
Yeah, Pepsi has world peace now. Looks like he's ready to, or he should be ready to move out of sand. In a moment. We do have to keep in mind that Smallant has already done Lake, so he doesn't have to go back there if he doesn't want to. Looks like Pepsi's taking one final check to make sure he didn't forget any sand goals. You definitely don't want to have to come back.
Yep, that's a pretty good idea. So it looks like both of the runners are going towards row 2 and column 5.
Maybe. I think Pepsi's only done one Jaxi stand.
Yeah, I just saw that. That's
Yeah,
true.
might not up for that.
And I'm not sure if he answered all of the Sphinx questions.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah, I think he only got.
Oh, Smallant is now also entering the ice cave for probably some more coins.
Mm-hmm.
To reach that 1000 coins goal. And once he has that goal, he can start spending his coins.
So after this, these runners are going to be very close progress-wise. Pepsi's going to be a good chunk of the way into Lake. And the Smallant will be... It's already done with that, but not too much further ahead. It looks like Smallant only wants the 1,000 and not the 1,250.
I'm wondering if Smallant is going to Lake to buy another moon, and he's not.
Guess not, yeah.
I think he will have to do revisits for 6 moons though. He has sand, he will get wooded, lost, metro, seaside, that's 5.
Yeah, looks like he'll need one more. But until you're like very sure of everything you want to do, you don't necessarily have to do the revisits right away.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe he also planned a revisit for something.
Right. Yeah, I guess there is a metro hint art that points to Lake. So if he needs a metro moon for whatever reason.
Yeah, that could be a pretty neat combo.
Yeah.
Has he bought a moon? No, he hasn't, right?
No, not yet noted.
Okay. He might also have decided to change the route or something, but I guess we will see afterward.
Yeah, and so there's only one sub area available before the brutal fight. So if he is going for those 6 sub areas, it'll be interesting to see which moons he skips and which ones he keeps. Because the any percent route has you getting 16 by the time you're at the brutal fight. But if you're going to do sub areas after it, you're going to want to skip 4 moons. So this pipeway that he's in does count as a sub area, since he'll do his first 2.
And Pepsi is doing some cleanup in Lake after the boss fight.
Yeah, so it looks like he wants those 14 moons in Lake, and he's going to be getting his second moon from Music Notes here. Or third moon. Sorry. Yeah, generally you have to do 2 passes through Lake, sort of one before the boss, and then a bunch of things open up after the boss, like timer challenges, and so then you go for a second pass to finish it up.
Yeah, exactly.
And it looks like Pepsi does want those 1250 coins. You see him collecting a few more.
Oh yeah. So either he thought that the coin stack in Knuckle Tech's room was too slow, or maybe he doesn't know it.
Yeah, it's definitely a tricky one to know that it's there.
I think both runners are going to Seaside.
Yeah, we might see that. Pepsi picking up a few regional coins here. Might want a sticker or souvenir, costume set.
Has Pepsi bought anything in Sand? Do you remember?
No, I don't believe he bought any moons. He saved all his coins. Oh, or you mean costume sets and stuff? No.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't see any. Looks like Pepsi's going fishing.
Yeah. And he has some strats for it seems.
Yeah.
Because this fish can be really tricky.
Exactly, yeah.
Sometimes he hugs the wall and doesn't want to bite. Looks like he's bailing on the fishing.
Yeah.
Because,
I don't blame him.
yeah.
It's a tricky one. Let's see, this timer challenge is not here before the boss, so... And the fishing lane also is not available.
Yeah. And Smallant is doing a quick work of wooded. He skipped some wounds in any percent, so he'll probably go for something else that unlocks after the brutal.
Right, yeah, looks like he wants those sub areas, and then a few more moons.
Yeah, I think the sub areas is the only goal that he really needs after the Brutal.
Right.
Could get this 8-bit moon on top as well.
That's true, yeah. Yeah, that's not far from the sub areas.
Yeah, I believe that Pepsi has not called taxi from Kusland.
Yeah, I think he did one, but not both.
Might still be going back if he wants to get that square, or he might have a different route.
Yeah.
Smallant is going through the nut room, the roboter storage room, I don't know. There is a quicker way, but it requires a tricky jump, and if you have never done it, then it's probably safer to take this route. Or maybe he thinks, or maybe it's faster to get to the rocket.
Yeah.
The room that Smallant is in right now is a pretty good room, bingo-wise, because it is a sub-area, it has Moonshard, it has a nut, and it has 2 captures.
Yeah.
The rocket and the
That one
bar.
was wrong.
I was Smallant having some cool strats there.
Yeah, that's a neat way to get that moonshard. Gonna swing around to get the nut. There's still one more moonshard that he needs to grab though.
And PepsiAverage is trying to complete this puzzle, which can be pretty tricky if you don't have the order written down.
Yeah.
And deciding that there are faster moons. So he bailed out.
Still going for those coins there. He's getting close. Just needs about 150 more. And Smallant's gonna be heading up to the other sub areas here.
There is a moon hidden behind this wall, but he decided that he doesn't need that moon because he will get 2 more moons from the sub areas already. I probably have skipped that sorry.
Nope, sorry.
Okay. He probably could have skipped a different moon which was slower instead of this one, but that's again planning ahead, which is really hard.
Better to have too many moons than too few.
Yep.
But yeah, generally you wanna.
Oh, PepsiAverage almost walked into his death there because he thought there were coins behind the zipper, but he
Yeah.
realized that.
This is the sub area that he's in, so this will be his 8th. If he gets both moons out of here.
Yes, Smallant is also in his 10th sub area, so if he's going for that goal, then he will have it too.
Yeah, and you don't have to mark goals that you're not going for, so. But
Yeah, that will give
we'll
us
see
some,
if he wants it. Yeah.
will give us some info on the route.
Pepsi getting all these little Goombas here. Looks like he's really close to 1250 coins now. Once he gets out of this.
Oh yeah. I never thought about killing those Goombas for the coins.
Yeah, that's an interesting strat. Does that zipper kill them all and give you coins? No, it doesn't look like it.
I think the zipper kills
Be
them,
pretty
but
cool
I'm
though.
not sure if you get coins.
Yeah. Didn't look like he did. So Pepsi now with 8 moons from sub-areas.
And I could see Smallant going for column 1 now. Because he will be getting the 8 moons from sub-areas in Metro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could be an option. 32 for Metro is a lot, but it's also not too terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Pepsi picking up his 9th moon from sub-area here. And 12th in Lake, so if he wants those 14 in Lake, he's getting close. Taking a second to think, definitely makes sense.
He might also have looked something up on the cheat sheet, because there's so many things to know about.
Yeah. Yeah, if he's trying to figure out where that last moon from the music notes is, or making sure that he just did a sub-area. That sort of thing. Smallant on the Bowser fight. So he's going to be going all the way to Metro now. Let's see, getting the fish. Might be going for Captain Toad here. I'll finish up the new chariots first. So he needs 2 more moons. Like,
Smallant showing us a pretty good Bowser fight. Showing off that any percent muscle memory.
and we'll see if he opts for the 16 moons and lost. That is a pretty quick goal. But
How
it is
many do you
6
get
more
normally?
moons. You get 10.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's still a few extra moons, but all the lost ones tend to be pretty close together.
PepsiAverage only needs 1 more moon.
Mm-hmm. Could go shopping for it, or there's the one behind the wall here, Captain Toad. Yeah, there's all sorts of...
Smallant was going for a pretty risky meme tree strat and bonked really closely on the edge.
Yeah. Pepsi grabs the 1,000 coin stack here. Looks like he might be heading up to the shop to purchase the last one.
Yeah, now that he has the 1250 coins, he can spend them all without losing the golds.
Exactly. Yeah, so Smallant does appear to be going for the 16, because these aren't moons you'd normally get. Oh, but he may want the 8-bit, so...
Oh yeah, true. Didn't get the one in Wooded, and... Yeah, I think this one fits better into his route, because he needs extra moons, and it's faster than the one in Wooded.
Yeah, definitely. Pepsi purchasing costumes here, so this will be his first and second. So you can get more with regional coins, or in later kingdoms, a few more costumes will be available to be purchased with gold coins.
Now you see Smallant going for a... It might seem like a weird jump, but you have to do it in order to skip, to not trigger Klepto.
Yeah, so if you go into the birds, like, so Klepto is the bird, if you go into its like field of vision, which the runners will know where that is, but it'll steal Cappy, and you gotta go get Cappy back, and it'll play a few cutscenes. It's just really, really slow if that happens.
Smallant is trying to get back up to get probably Cave Gardening, a moon that he skipped earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he may also want to go to the top of the kingdom.
Oh, true.
Uh-oh. Oh, I think he needs to die here, yeah. He fell into, so as soon as, even if the region where you land is out of Klepto's vision, if you go into its vision and then land anywhere, it'll still steal Cappy.
And Pepsi hitting that button by accident, which doesn't lose a lot of time, but it's so annoying if you do it.
Definitely. Yeah, so we'll see the Klepto cutscene here. That's a tricky thing that you don't really know in any percent because you're never really in that situation. But Yeah, now Smallant1's got to play the little Klepto mini game here.
He had pretty good movement up to Klepto, so I think he was prepared for this, or he has practiced back up.
Definitely. And now he doesn't have to worry about it anymore at all. Because the Klepto is going to be gone until you revisit Lust.
Yeah. Yeah, Pepsi just marked quite a few goals. Regional was in Lake. Oh, he marked one by accident.
Yeah. So it looks like he's doing call 2, row 4, and then maybe something else. I might be opting for call 3, or like the diagonal with the Lost Moons.
Or also column 1.
Column 1 could be good, yeah. Yeah, we'll see what he decides on. I think he's trying to find the last moon from music notes here. He knows it's in one of the cliff sides, but... Or might be going back for costume sets? Oh right, after he got the regionals he can now purchase another costume.
Yeah, true.
And the stickers, okay, might be opting for call 4 or row 3.
Yeah, there are many options right now for him.
Smallant1 doing moon shards.
Does he know where the last shard is? Yes, he does.
Yeah, I found it.
Ooh,
That's unfortunate. So he doesn't have to worry about Klepto. If you die there, it can be pretty bad because the bird will come back, but...
Oh, he respawned up here even though he hasn't gotten the checkpoint, but that's because he entered the shop.
Yes.
I've never seen that before, so I was a bit surprised.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah,
like, I always grab the checkpoint when I'm up there.
Yeah, that makes sense. So Smallant1's getting close to those 16 moons. Looks like he's heading over to Captain Toad now. This jump can be a little tricky, so we'll see how he does.
Ooh. Okay, he got it.
Good save, yeah.
Yeah, he slid down the wall a little bit, or kind of sliding, kind of falling. And you can't really do anything in that situation except hope that he will keep sliding.
Yeah. So Pepsi going back to sand to grab another sticker here.
Yeah. So he might have forgotten this the first time, or he might have changed his route.
Yeah, and so now he's opting for the costume sets as well. Or at least one of them. Yeah, the other one has... It's quite expensive.
Yeah, and Smallant is now cleaning up the any percent wounds in Lost Kingdom, which are all pretty quick.
Yeah, that'll get him all the way to 16.
I thought maybe Pepsi would call Jaxi from another stand and answer the Sphinx questions, but he decided not to.
Yeah, he might have a different route in mind. Could be going for row 3 maybe? He's already purchased a few moons and he's got Trace walking.
Yeah, that could be. And he will get 12 moons in Seaside, so the 14 won't be much longer.
And I think he's doing costume sets, so the 14 is also an intersection there.
Oh yeah, that's true. Smallant marking his goals now. I think he has 5 moons from 8-bit sections already.
Did he get the one in... So did Lake... Did you get the second one in sand in the pyramid?
Yes, he got 2 in Sand, 1 in Cascade, 1 in Lake, and 1 in Lost.
Yeah, then he should have 5.
I don't know if you should notify him about that, or... Yes, well, now coming up into Night Metro, which has a few things, but not many. So usually in Bingo you just go with pretty quickly, maybe collect some moons or some purples. Ooh, missing a jump there, but he was able to save it. And PepsiAverage answered a Sphinx question there. There's unfortunately only one Sphinx question in Wooded. I think he wanted to answer more questions for the goal.
Yeah, gotta head back to Sand if he wants a few more questions. Smallant1 City Hall. This is a tricky room to get right, but happens in any percent, so he looks very practiced at it. Very clean City Hall there.
PepsiAverage
finishing up his 10 sub areas.
Yeah.
Skipping one of the moons here though. He'll have to go back for that if he wants the 6 mission sub areas.
Oh, did he skip the other one?
Did he? I'm not sure.
I think he got it.
You got it? Okay. Yeah, I imagine he knows where that one is from 90%.
Yeah.
So he skipped the... Right, he didn't do the bunny or the rock at the start, but he did purchase the moon.
Yeah, and he was talking to the Sphinx, but I think he was expecting to get more questions. The Sphinx only has one question here.
Smallant1 doing the Mecha Wiggler fight.
That fight can be pretty convenient for doing for finishing your routing of Metro Kingdom, because you have so much downtime.
Definitely. See if you can get all these in this phase. He's done this fight many times during 80%, but it's gonna be close. Okay, you got
Pepsi. Oh. Pepsi took a bonk and he landed into the...
that is definitely unfortunate. Yeah, Deep Woods tends to have a lot of bingo goals, but isn't very helpful for this card. It's got a few captures, it's got some regional coins. There are just some goals that require you to go to Deep Woods. But it's got a few fast moons, so if Pepsi doesn't need the sub areas later, then you can...
That's true. But if you don't want to go to Deep Woods, then it's pretty annoying.
Yeah, and wherever you come up is usually not that helpful either. Or you gotta carry a seed a pretty long distance.
Pepsi is trying to lure the dinosaur, so he knows his moons in Deep Woods.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Smallant is starting to clean up Day Metro. I think he needs 8 moons from sub-areas and 32 moons.
Yeah, if he decides to go for that one. He may be skipping that. Oh no, that does seem to be what he wants, yeah.
Yeah, from what he has marked until now.
Yeah. So he'll have to go to Seaside, but just for the Sphinx question, and then we'll be wrapping up there.
Yeah, it will be pretty quick. I think he has only 2 shop moons, so I don't think he's going for column roasting.
6, yeah. Might have had that in an initial route and then changed his mind. definitely happens all the time once
Yeah,
you see what's faster. Okay, Pepsi planting the seed to get out of here. That is smart to plant the seed, and then you can do something else while it grows for a little bit.
Yeah, some small optimizations to save for a bit of time.
So it's gonna be going for the pipes
RNG
here.
pipes,
Yeah.
which are not actually RNG.
Yeah, you gotta just know the way. I was told a neat trick that Mario will only look at real objects. So if you like walk past the pipes, Mario will turn his head towards the real ones.
Yeah, exactly. That's really useful for this moon. I think it's still relatively slow.
Yeah, you gotta go through a bunch of pipes, but still not too bad.
You also get some coins at the end if you get everything the first try.
Okay, Smallant1's gonna be doing most of the any percent moons here, and then just plus a bunch of sub areas. That'll get him really close to 32.
Yeah, that should be 26 if it's only the sub areas and any percent. And then you can pick up some more quick moons. It seems like Pepsi doesn't know the trick with looking at the pipes.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, and finding this timer moon is really hard if you don't know where it is either.
Yep.
Okay, he's heading.
I think it's also hidden behind a tree.
Yeah, and it's a quick timer. It's probably one of the fastest in the game. You really gotta be moving to get to it.
Smallant route looks pretty planned. Like, you knew that at that point in the N% route he's going to break out and go to Captain Toad.
Yeah, and he had a good bit of time to think on this when, as Emperor said, when he was fighting Wiggler. Once you're down to only a few goals left to get, you can definitely start to optimize them a bit more.
Yeah, exactly.
Really good movement up the tower there from Smallant.
Yeah, his move is still really good after that big break. Smallant getting his second sub area in Metro, which is in the any percent route, so it has to be fast.
Right. So that'll be his fourth moon from sub areas.
Exactly. Oh, his third only.
Yeah,
He
that's
decides
interesting. He's gonna pop over to this one and then probably come back through the other one.
Yeah, I guess so.
Get the other moon.
I rarely go to this sub area. Is this one fast?
I think it's pretty fast. It's probably on par. It's slower. I think it's probably a little faster than the moon shards one that Smallant did at the start.
Yeah.
But the
The moon shards are also slow.
Yeah. Yeah, Smallant realizing he missed the moon.
Oh yeah. I didn't even realize while watching.
Pepsi back out of deep woods now.
You know, he's probably going to follow the any percent route. Or maybe he wants to finish the brutal quick and then go to the sub areas.
Let's see what he opts for. Looks like he does want a few more moons.
And Smallant is soon going to collect his 6th moon from sub-areas in Metro.
Oh, unfortunate bonk.
Yeah.
Not too terrible though, you can just get back up.
Boots does not count as sub-area. It has many other goals though, like ground pound moons, captures, purple coins.
Treasure chests.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a ton of good stuff down there.
But for this card it's not really optimal, I think.
Yeah, there's really not much. I'll have to be finishing up the sub areas after this one. Just needs a few more moons out of Metro, and then I'll be heading to the seaside.
PepsiAverage is going for the flower path skip. Oh, and he misses and bonks.
Yeah, it's a difficult trick.
Yeah, I used to try and get it, but then I decided to not go for it anymore because it can be so annoying.
Yeah.
It doesn't lose that much time going over the flower path.
Doing a few musicians here. These moves might not look very fast, but they really are. You do 2 musicians in the any percent route.
Okay. Okay. Yay.
Yeah, so Pepsi's skipping the brutal, so falling down to deep woods allowed him to do that.
Oh yeah, that's pretty smart. Smallant getting even more sub areas, even though he doesn't eat them, but they are pretty quick moves for the 32 moon goal. Let's see that he's already pretty close. He has 28 out of 32 moons. And the 32 moons is generally considered a pretty long goal in the bingo community. And that was an unfortunate death. It can be pretty tricky because the pole is moving away from you, and I can say from experience that dying there is not too uncommon. I think there's a way to roll over the top, but I've never tried it myself. Oh, is Smallant trying it? Ooh. I guess he was trying it and he died. And PepsiAverage died as well, I think, while going to the arena.
Yeah, if you miss those little cloud platforms. Gotcha.
Okay, this time he got it. Playing it safe.
Very nice, yeah. Needs 3 more moons after this.
Yeah, Festival also has all the cutscenes, and
Exactly, yeah.
we need all the musicians first, which also have cutscenes.
And so this was the moon we mentioned earlier. That's both an 8-bit and a music note, and it's not too slow either.
Yeah. There's a little trick to capture the outdoor or the 3D notes first, because the moon will always spawn inside the 2D area. But yeah, that's something that you will learn after a few bingos, I guess.
Yeah.
At the start, I always did it wrong.
Yep, me too.
The notes are also so misleading. Like they lead from one pipe
Yeah.
over the edge into the other pipe, and yeah.
So Pepsi will be heading to Lost now. The Smallant just needs like 2 more moons and then a few questions. Looks like you might be getting the other musician here. Yeah. Yeah, he may just be finishing all 4 musicians. You don't have to like go to the festival.
Yeah. There are many moons in Metro. I think,
Yeah.
was it 50 or 60 even? Can't remember exactly.
Yeah, something in the 50s. Yeah, he's still got a bunch more.
There are some
Yeah,
really
maybe
slow
close to
ones.
60. Yeah, you could do all the seeds.
Oh yeah, jump rope.
Jump rope.
Or
Oh yeah, there's the RC speaker, yep. I think he's still got slots or shop that he could do that are both pretty quick.
not true.
But he's got musicians here, also very fast.
And it's an easy moon to remember.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, after going through and getting like a bunch of them, it's hard to remember which ones you've done and which ones you haven't.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because you're breaking from a normal route, so it can be tricky. But
Yeah.
he's got them all now, heading off to Seaside, where he just needs to finish up his last goal.
I think Pepsi grabbed the checkpoint on top of Lost, so we won't see a standard Lost route either from him.
Yeah. Smallant's got to be very careful here, though. It defaults to being on snow, and if you like try to input too early, the little cursor doesn't move. So we'll see
Yeah,
if he's
if he's
able
going-
to select Seaside.
If he's going to snow, then he will have to complete snow first, which I have no idea how long it
Yeah,
takes.
it's like 4, 5, 6 minutes. Yeah, something like that.
He did it!
Alright, he makes it. Very nice.
That's always a scary moment.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, snow is around 5 minutes, according to chat.
So it looks like Pepsi is going for the 16 moons and lost. And he purchased the moon as well. So switching over to that diagonal.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty good idea.
Yeah. Those trees being real tricky. It's really hard to land on the leaves. They've got deceptively
Yeah.
small, like, places you can stand. But Smallant coming up on Sphinx right now. Just gotta answer 3 of these questions and then he's got it.
Let's hope that he knows the answers.
Yeah, that's true. This is one of the reasons to play in English though. If you don't
Yeah,
know which order, yeah.
Because it seemed like he was looking at the answers, so he probably doesn't have them written down.
Yeah.
I think he has answered 5 in sand, so this should be his last question. Or maybe he has only answered 3 in sand.
Perhaps. It's a tricky last question. There we go.
Yeah,
He's got it. Nicely done. GG to
GG
Smallant.
Smallant. And yeah,
Someone?
PepsiAverage is trying to finish up Lost and having some death, unfortunately.
Yeah, when the platforms are moving out of your way, it can be a little tricky. It's got to be careful of Klepto again, though, because once you die or enter like the shop or anything, it respawns. So hopefully he
that's
knows
true.
to warp out after this one.
Uh-oh, Smallant is drowning.
Oh no.
He realized.
Beautiful image stand down there. Yeah, Pepsi knows about Klepto, so that was an intentional death there after you get the moon. Warps you right back here. Alright, we'll see if either of the runners want to be interviewed.
PepsiAverage buying another moon and having one more. That's actually his last moon for Lost, so he'll probably be heading off to Metro. Currently trying to see if he can get some interviews.
Yeah.
Just clearing up some stuff. Yeah, some players mark all the goals that they get, and some players mark only the goals that they really want in their route.
Yeah.
Hello. Hey there.
Welcome, Pepsi and Smallant.
Hello, yes. Good race, guys.
GG.
Thanks.
I didn't expect to spend so long in Lake.
Yeah, it can definitely be tricky. So what were you thinking about while you were in Lake?
So I saw that Sand was my biggest time consumer, so I tried to get as much done in Sand as possible, and then I went into Lake, realizing that I could buy a sticker in Sand. So I got the 15 regional coins in Lake, bought the sticker there, and when I had to backtrack back to Sand, then, which was not optimal. But the thing that threw me off the most was the subsections.
Right. Yeah, those are definitely the hardest thing to know which ones are which when you're
Yes.
first starting out. Yeah.
Everything else was okay.
Yeah, and it looked like you had a pretty solid route. So you were going for the diagonal and row 3 and 4?
Yes.
Yeah, so you're pretty close on that. You just got to get a purchase moon in Metro and then
Yeah,
finish it.
I definitely had the coins for it because I did the 1250 quite early.
Right. Yeah.
There were also
And so, oh, go ahead, first.
there were also a lot of sand goals, so it was very hard to not forget any of those.
Yeah.
I think Smallant also went back for World Peace, right?
Yeah, well, basically, at the beginning, I ended up making a route where I was like, alright, I'll do World Peace, I'll do a lot of the sand stuff, and then I forgot that we weren't doing clipping. So like, yeah, World Peace will be nice and fast. And then after I remembered that, like, midway through sand, I was like, wait a minute. So I had to like reroute, and I was like, alright, I'll get the coins later, and then I finish sand, I go to lake, finish lake, where am I gonna get these coins? So I went back and did all the stuff in sand.
I
Gotcha.
went over to the island realizing that I had to go on the tower first because the moon shards weren't active, and I was just like, oh yeah.
Yeah. So when did you both finalize your routes? Like so. At some point in Sand, you realized to change Smallant, but yeah, when did you both solidify what you're doing?
My first route was to go do World Peace, because I knew it would take the longest, and then I realized all the other goals were around Sand, so I managed to try and get as much around World Peace and Sand as possible, and I just went through Cascade and Cap as quickly as I could, grabbing the 2 subsections from Cascade because I knew I needed them.
Yeah, and that one had a bunch of coins in it too, which is nice.
Yeah. So I also did the other subsections in Sand with lots of coins to get the coins for the 2 other objectives. I found it hard to keep track of all the subsections because I was like, does this count? Maybe? And I selected it and I was like, wait, why am I getting so many messages? Oh, that doesn't count.
yeah. And you
and then I went to Cloud and I read, oh, Deep Woods doesn't count as a subsection? Okay.
Oh, that sucks.
And then I was like, oh yeah, okay. So I had to abandon that one as well.
Yeah, you almost have to look at the cheat sheet for every little room to check if it's a sub area.
Yes.
After a few bingos, you get used to which ones are and which ones aren't. But yeah, it's definitely very tricky, you know.
And I think Smallant, you got 6 moons from 8-bit sections.
I thought I got 5. Maybe. Well, let's see. I got the one in Cascade. I got the one from Lost. I got 2 in Sand. And then I got 1 in. Oh yeah, I did because I got the one in Lake. I forgot about that one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you're right. Forgot to get off, I guess. Forgot about the
Wasn't
Lake.
sure. Maybe you were planning to get the one in Metro anyway because you needed 32 moons.
Yeah, I figured I couldn't really think of anywhere to go. Those last 2 moons with the musician was just because I couldn't think of anything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you still had shop and slots, but those are both slow as well, so they're probably on par with the musicians.
But yeah, definitely fun. Like, it was really fun to think what I needed to do and remember what to do in each level.
I agree.
It's a very different way to play the game. It's very interesting.
It's really fun. It's only my second bingo myself. I did my first one, I think, on Friday, so this is good.
Right. Yeah.
I
Awesome.
embarrassed
Well, thank you
myself
both.
a little bit in Lake because I was doing the puzzle and I couldn't figure out how to do the puzzle. 'cause
Oh, that
I've never
puzzle
done it before.
sucks.
I've never done it
That
before,
one's hard.
and then I was like, oh, that doesn't count as a subsection. So I was like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
I went in there and practiced, and I couldn't figure it out. So like, all right, I guess I'm never doing this in a run.
Yeah, that one generally you don't want to do, but it does count as a capture, which
The
can
block.
sometimes be. Yeah.
Yeah, for rooms like those, you almost have to keep notes of the order for the puzzle, or maybe for the Sphinx questions. Well, the Sphinx questions, you can figure them out if you're playing on English.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. Yeah, I think that's all we've got.
Yep.
Yeah,
Thank-
do you are you happy with your route, Smallant, or would you have done anything different if you could do another one?
If I could do another one without remembering that there is without clipping, I definitely would have done it a lot differently. Sand would have been a lot cleaner, not backtracking to it. I think I basically backtracked to it twice. And then at one point I actually forgot about the Sphinx questions, so I went back and did that again. But it would have been pretty much the same out of Lost Kingdom. I would have liked to have Lost Kingdom be a little bit more linear instead of backtracking a lot. But other than fixing up Sand, so I do everything sort of in a shorter path, I think it was pretty solid.
Yeah, I think column 3 and row 1 are others to consider, but yeah, I mean, you both had very solid routes as well. Like finishing up with only going to 1 of Snow or Seaside and not having to do too much in those late kingdoms. It's very good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And what about you, Pepsi? Would you have changed anything?
I would have probably changed Lake a bit more. Like, I wasn't sure where moons were. and also I wouldn't have spent so much time in Deep Woods, realizing it didn't count as subsections.
Yeah.
Other than that, I was pretty happy with the route I was going with.
Yeah, it was very good to identify, especially for a first bingo. Like,
Mm.
very nice.
Okay, I think that's all.
Yep.
So we can make room for the next racer.
Yeah, so there'll be another Odyssey bingo starting shortly, but definitely follow both these runners. They're fantastic, and my co-commentators Empires as well.
And Bry Guy, of course.
Yes, and yeah, thank you all for watching.
Thanks for
Uh,
commentating, you too.
No problem.
It was fun.
Definitely.
Yep. See ya.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye.